In the old days, we believed the Bible has the answer to the problem. But secularists came along and said, no, we've got the solution to the problem. What did we clever Christians do? Well, we decided to integrate the two. We took men's ideas, God's ideas, and we smushed it together, and now we call it Christian psychiatry.
I'm talking about modern-day psychology that's been running rampant here in America since Freud landed on our shores 100 years ago. And since then, by and large, Christians and churches have bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And what they'll do is they'll just take the model that's out there and they'll just baptize it a little bit or sprinkle it with a few Bible verses, and now it's Christian psychology. But in so many cases, I'll tell you which one of those words wins: the psychology, not the Christian. So that concept of integrated, where we're going to integrate it, it seems that inevitably when you integrate, the Bible loses. And Jesus is not at the forefront. Redemption is not at the forefront. The process of sanctification, God's grace, God's promises is not what is at the forefront. I think there needs to be a clarion call back to the Bible.
It boils down to a battle of the books. When it comes to counseling, psychological, emotional issues, let's ask some questions of our source of authority. You've got man's books, you've got God's books. Let's start with, where do they get their authority from? When it comes to man's counseling books, the authority comes from man. When it comes to the Bible or a Richard Baxter-like book, the authority comes from God. What is the view of man? Well, man's books would say, we're pretty good. The Bible would say, you got a big old sin problem. What about the solution? Where's the solution and who's responsible for it? Is it external, which is what man's books teach us? Or is it internal, which is what God's books teaches us? How do we know when we've arrived at the solution or the cure? Man's books would say, well, when things look pretty good on the outside. God's book says, oh, no, it is about a heart transplant. What is the role of the counselor? When it comes to man's books, well, the counselor is the expert. When it comes to God's book, the Holy Spirit is the expert.